Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving right into the profound topic of human life and impermanence. We're going to embark on a truly fascinating philosophical journey, unpacking some deeply revered Eastern spiritual concepts. We'll be looking at the nature of impermanence, the actual root of human suffering, and ultimately the path to spiritual liberation. So if you've ever found yourself questioning the fleeting nature of our day-to-day existence, or just wondering how to find a sense of enduring peace in a world that literally never stops changing, well, you are exactly in the right place. Let's get into it. To guide our explorations safely through these massive existential questions, we've got a roadmap. We'll start with the law of impermanence, define the human condition, unpack birth, death, and illusion, explore the roots of suffering, and finish up by looking at transcending the cycle. I want to kick things off with this incredibly powerful observation straight from the source text. It perfectly sets the stage for our journey today. Everything we know, everything we see, and everything we build is in a state of constant flux. You just can't freeze time, and you certainly can't freeze life.
So let's dive into Section 1, the law of impermanence, or anicca.
You know, the text makes a brilliant point right out of the gate. Just as the sun has to set, the seasons have to turn from spring to winter, and mighty rivers endlessly flow without ever being the exact same river twice, human life is bound by that exact same uncompromising natural law. We look at massive mountains and deep oceans and think they're permanent, right? But on a cosmic timeline, they're constantly shifting, degrading, and reforming. And honestly, we are no different.
This brings us to a foundational concept in Eastern philosophy known as anicca, or impermanence. It's the absolute truth that nothing in the physical universe can remain unchanged. Why does this matter to us? Well, because understanding anicca is literally step one to any kind of spiritual awakening. The text makes a really compelling argument here. It's our resistance to this constant change, like our desperate attempts to hold on to youth or wealth or specific relationships, that actually creates our suffering. Which brings us to Section 2, defining the human condition, heaven and earth. Let's look at how we uniquely fit into this ever-changing puzzle. There is this brilliant metaphor found right in our own anatomy. The text compares our physical posture with that of animals. Think about it. Animals walk horizontally. Their backs are to the sky, they face the ground, and they're completely absorbed in the earthly instinct of just surviving. But humans, we stand upright. Our heads reach toward heaven, while our feet are planted firmly on the earth. It's not just biology, guys. It is deeply, deeply symbolic.
Because of this unique upright position, the text argues that we aren't just physical creatures running on blind instinct. We actually serve as the conscious, vital bridge between the earthly realm and the divine. We have intellect, we have a conscience, and we have this amazing, unique capacity to cultivate spiritual wisdom.
Let's move on to Section 3, birth, death, and illusion, the two bodies. This is where we dissect the most intimidating illusions of the human experience. So the crucial takeaway here is understanding our dual nature. The text divides our existence into two distinct parts. On one side, we have what's called the fake body. Think of this as your physical shell. It's constructed of temporary elements and, let's face it, is absolutely destined to die. On the other side is our true nature, or the Dharma body. This is spiritual, eternal, and it never dies. The core of all our suffering? It comes from the fact that we mistakenly identify completely with that fake body. We spend all our energy catering to it, while totally ignoring our eternal true nature. Sages remind us that while the physical end of that fake body is inevitable, it definitely doesn't happen the same way for everyone. The text outlines 4 distinct types of death. First up is natural death, which is like a well-used oil lamp simply running out of fuel in old age. Second is the end of merit, where life ends abruptly, like a delicate bubble popping when your spiritual fortune is spent. Third is accidental death, a sudden end attributed to unresolved karma. But the fourth, liberated death, that is the ultimate goal. This is a peaceful departure where you've so masterfully cultivated your spiritual nature that you literally control your own destiny. Understanding this totally strips away our fear and shows us that how we depart depends entirely on how we live. Now we have to ask the really tough questions in Section 4, the roots of suffering, the Bodhisattva view. We spend our entire lives constantly chasing fleeting worldly happiness and running away from pain, right? Yet, the text reveals this stunning truth. Joy and pain are simply two sides of the exact same coin. Relying on temporary physical circumstances for your happiness literally guarantees eventual suffering when those circumstances inevitably change. If your joy is based entirely on your bank account, the loss of wealth brings absolute devastation. The Buddha famously called life a sea of suffering. And the text gives us 8 unavoidable pillars that show exactly why. We suffer through birth, we suffer as our bodies age, through sickness, and ultimately through death. We experience the deep ache of separating from the people we love, the sheer frustration of encountering things we despise, the endless pain of unfulfilled desires, and honestly, just the heavy burden of carrying around our physical body and fluctuating mind. Relying on the physical world to escape these things is a completely futile endeavor. But here is the massive paradigm shift. By adopting the enlightened bodhisattva view, everything changes. While the everyday worldly view chases physical joy, runs terrified from suffering, and dreads death, a bodhisattva seeks eternal spiritual peace. They actually embrace suffering as a tool to cultivate empathy and help others, and they see death merely as a transition, not an end. By shifting our perspective, we stop being victims of those 8 sufferings and start using them for profound spiritual growth. Having clearly defined the problem of our fleeting existence, let's explore the definitive solution in Section 5, transcending the cycle.
The source material doesn't just leave us hanging with philosophical problems, it gives us a really practical roadmap. We're told not to waste our brief time here on trivial things. Instead, follow these steps to break free from the exhausting cycle of birth and death. Step 1, truly internalize that all physical things will fade. Step 2, actively seek out spiritual truth, the eternal Dharma or Tao, through a proper teacher. And Step 3, dedicate this temporary, fleeting physical life to cultivating lasting merit and virtue.
So, what does that cultivation actually look like? The text highlights the 3 immortalities. Even though our physical forms will undoubtedly perish, we are not left without a legacy. By dedicating ourselves to immortal virtue, sharing immortal words of wisdom, and building immortal merit through selfless actions, we leave behind an eternal essence that transcends the physical realm entirely. This is exactly how the temporary becomes eternal. The concluding chapters offer a very stern but incredibly empowering warning. There is real urgency to this work. We must use this fleeting physical life right now to build our eternal spiritual one. The text warns us not to wait for old age to seek the truth, because, let's be real, death does not check your birth certificate. The graves are filled with the young just as much as the old. The time to awaken is today.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, provocative thought. You have a unique, upright position between heaven and earth. You have a profound capacity for wisdom. So the question is, will you use your temporary physical life to merely chase fleeting illusions, or will you use it to cultivate an eternal spiritual existence? It's a heavy question, for sure, but one well worth reflecting upon as you navigate your own incredible, impermanent journey. Thank you so much for joining me, and keep seeking the truth.